Welcome back. You're watching World Talks, and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Monday marks another day on the road for EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who is set to visit Lithuania and Romania after previously visiting Poland and Bulgaria. While on tour, President von der Leyen discusses with government and military officials EU-NATO cooperation as well as defense and deterrence. All this against the backdrop of the Zapad Russian-Belarusian military exercises set to take place in less than 2 weeks. How are these visits going to influence European security? Well, Tomasz Zając, an analyst from the Polish Institute of International Affairs, joins me to find answers. Hello, and thank you for joining.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So, European capitals are preparing for, quote, pretty precise plans for potential troop deployments to Ukraine as part of post-war security guarantees. And that's according to EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in an interview with the Financial Times. She made her statement during this tour of the of the EU states, the frontline states, where she focused on defense spending and military readiness. What do you think is the goal of this tour?
So this is one of the many signs from the European Commission that they care about the eastern flank, the defense, and the defense capabilities of the EU as well. So I think that this is, again, one of the many signs to show how Ukraine is important, is a key or even is essential to the Europe. Actually, I think that we can see that this became one of the tenets of the mainstream European politics, to the extent that the European People's Party, so the biggest party in the European Parliament, also the party from which Ursula von der Leyen is coming, that they said that they would collaborate only with the parties that are pro-EU, pro-rule of law and pro-Ukrainian, meaning that they support Ukraine in the war against Russian aggression. So I think it shows how this became an important tenet, like I said, of the European politics. And this tour is, again, one of the symbols of like how it is important, how this is the question, the issue of our survival even, to have more capabilities in terms of defense, to spend more, and to show that the European Union is there supporting Eastern countries that are in the most, the biggest danger is towards them actually from Russia. So I think this is the main goal of the tour, to show the support, to show that this is still an important question, because I think due actually to the financial issues, the fact that we have to spend more and more, and this is becoming an issue in terms of the social support that the societies of the European Union are, I think they are becoming less prone to spend more, because it comes with a toll on the economies of the European states. So there is this need to constantly recalling to the European society that this has a purpose, right? That we don't forget you. We are supporting you, and also Ursula von der Leyen. And for instance, Donald Tusk, he mentioned some initiatives that are co-financed by European Union or will be co-financed, like East Shield. So those are the main goals in my view.
So this solidarity that is being showcased right now, especially when it comes to Poland, I mean, we've heard from Ursula von der Leyen, who said, quote, Europe stands shoulder to shoulder with Poland. This should be considered as a sign of real solidarity and not just symbolic gestures. I mean, we're talking about tangible support.
I think so. Of course, it's always too little too late. We can always argue that there should have been, more actions from European Union before. But I think, it doesn't matter right now. I think that, to quote this saying that you should put your money where your mouth is, if we look at the European budget for the next 7 years, we can see that actually European Union is trying to put their mouth with their money is. So the fact that the spending for the EU defense will increase 4 times, I think is somewhat telling. And the fact that there are already initiatives, and there will be more initiatives like I said, co-financed by the European Union, shows that those are not, merely gestures. But of course, the SAFE program, 150 billion euros, it seems a lot, but I think if we take into account the needs for the defense industry sector and the threat, this is still too little. So we have to make more, but I think those are the steps into the right direction.
So in relation to the defense spending when it comes to Poland, we've heard from Deputy Defense Minister Paweł Zalewski, who said today on one of major Polish radio stations that, quote, out of this 150 billion euros, we aim for 45 billion euro because that is the value of the procurement projects we filed largely within the Polish defense industry. Could you tell us what are the main priorities of these projects and how much of them will be implemented by the Polish defense industry?
So, to be perfectly honest, I don't know the details on that, so I'm not really sure what the projects will be exactly, but I think it is important to underline that it is true that Poland will be one of the biggest beneficiaries, actually, of this program. Same applies to the next MFF. That means the budget of the European Union. And I also think that is maybe important, when we talk about the money and like how European Union is financing the EU defense. The SAFE program is clearly important. The European, the budget of the EU is important as well. But I think it's also important to stress that actually there are other programs that used to be of more, let's say, civilian nature that also were transformed, like the Next Generation Fund or the Cohesion Funds, and they will also be used as a source of financing for those so-called double use items. That means things, let's say, that can be used for the civilian use, but also during the war for the defense purposes. So, like, I don't know, even a road can be such a thing that you use it, normally using the peacetime, but also when there's war, there are transportations coming there. I don't know, the armies going there, etc. So there are really a lot of things that the European Union is changing. The fact that they're trying to loosening the rules according to which the money is spending, and they are more lenient, let's say, toward spending more to those dual use items. I think it also shows that we are preparing for this really bad and, in fact, the worst scenario. But we are doing something. So that's it.
So we've heard from President von der Leyen, who called President Putin, quote, a predator who can only be stopped by strong deterrence. What kind of deterrence are we looking at? Is it economic? Is it military, political? Which one is the most effective when we look at Russia?
Yeah, so I think it's all of them, actually, and I think the most important thing, in my opinion, would be to show the willingness to fight him, the unity, to show that we are really, really determined to deter him, to show that we will do whatever it takes, actually, to stand by the Ukraine, to increase our defense capabilities, and so on. So I think, like I said, like political, economic, military, those are all important, and obviously we should try to increase them. But I think to show them the political will. And this is actually one of the things that I think surprised Putin in 2022, that the European Union, and I think it surprised to some extent even the European Union itself, that the leaders of the European Union, they really found the courage and the strength and the political will actually to stand up to Putin and to show that we are ready to make sacrifices, we are ready to spend more, we are ready to make compromises and to find this common political line towards him. And I think this is actually one of the most important things that will deter Putin, to show that we are really determined to stop him. And even though clearly there are some differences, there are some different sensibilities among the European countries and so on.
Pardon me for interrupting, but there are definitely
Mm.
some clear differences when you look at the approach of some of the member states when it comes to some of the most fundamental questions right now when it comes to security guarantees for Ukraine. For example, the use of frozen Russian assets. We have different sides of the spectrum being covered by different member states. So what's your response to that?
Of course, so let's call the elephant in the room. Hungary and Slovakia are clearly the outliner, but the fact that they are outliners and the fact that European Union managed actually to find solutions to convince them to join this new mainstream line that I said the European Union found after 2022, it shows that even though there are some differences of opinions, or even there are some countries that are, like openly against the new political line of the European Union. European Union has still this power, this knowledge how to actually push forward. And the fact that, for instance, the European sanctions, they have to be every 6 months, all of the European countries, they have to accept them. And every 6 months, there's the struggle mainly with Hungary, because they usually find something that they don't like in the new sanction packages or in the previous ones. So the fact that every 6 months we managed to find this acceptance for the sanctions, this shows us, okay, this machine that the European Union is not perfect, but there is still political will to push forward. And I think the European Union actually has some kind of leverage over countries that are against this new political lines, like Hungary and Slovakia. So again, it's not an easy task, it's not an easy situation, but the fact that we are still finding our way out of it, I think it's somewhat optimistic. But of course, the fact that Hungary and Slovakia are against those new measures, this actually takes time from we could have acted more swiftly, more quickly, and etc. So this is not a good thing, right? But this is the institutional architecture is like this. It is what it is, and we won't change it, like in a
sadly,
few months.
we will
so
have to put a full stop in there because, unfortunately, our time on the program has come to an end. Thank you so much, Tomasz Zając, analyst from the Polish Institute of International Affairs, was my guest. Thank you once again for joining.
Thank you very much, once again.
And so this would be all for now here on World Talks. I'm Claudia Czerwińska, and I do hope to see you back in just a moment for more news, features, and interviews.